Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to a new episode of Just the Tips. I'm Joanna Angel. I am so sorry, everyone. Unfortunately, Small Hands is not in the studio today. He is doing what you'd expect him to be doing. He's in a porn. He's making a porn right now as we speak. He's making some porn, and he had to do it. It was very important for him to do it, so he's not here today. But he will be back. Don't worry, he's coming back. This is not goodbye forever, but I'm here today. And I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. I did wear a turkey onesie, and I had sex in the turkey onesie. It was very exciting. I made sure to try to keep the turkey onesie on at all times. Like when I was lying down in missionary position, I slipped my hands into the the wings, and so I could still be a turkey to make sure I stayed true to the turkey sex. We unfortunately could not use a turkey baster or anything like that. But anyway, you could check out the scene on my OnlyFans and Aaron's OnlyFans. OnlyFans.com/Joanna Angel. DM me and say turkey sex, and you will see the video. I mean, you'll have to pay for it, but just DM me so I know what you're talking about. I have a very special guest today, a legend, an amazing person on the inside and out. You all definitely know who she is, a longtime friend of mine, and she's going to be joining us virtually. And it's kind of exciting to be doing this episode, just me and her, because I don't know, it's like the girls episode, right? It's like a girls' day, no guys allowed. Get out of here.
Girls reunion.
Yeah, it's a girls' reunion. Oh, that's so beautiful. Yeah. Me and Small Hands and Adriana, we have had a threesome before. So even though he's not here in this episode, he's here in spirit. We both squirted on him. You can also find that scene on my OnlyFans. Yeah. Anyway, so let's without further ado, let's bring her in. Hi. Hello, Adriana.
Hi.
Hi. Hello. It's so good to have you here. I am here without my co-host today, so it's like a girls' day here on Just the Tips, and it is so awesome to have you here. It's so good to have you here. Hi. Hello.
Thank you. Hi. It's so good to see you. It's been forever.
I know it's been forever. I know. Are you coming? Are you going to any? Are you going to AVN?
I don't think I will. I mean, it's so crazy to think, but I'm so out of the world. I don't really have a reason to go.
Yeah. No,
unless it's a party. It's still fun.
Are you, I'm sure, I know most people know because it was very big news that you were, in a pretty horrific accident.
It was
incident.
An
Incident.
Accident.
Yeah, I'm like, accident's not the right. You've recovered recently from a very bad injury that was from a very tragic situation at a convention. Are you doing okay? How are you feeling?
So, I would say it's been a roller coaster, and it's still hard. I feel good today. But it's pretty crazy because the further you get away from, for me, the further I get away from the surgery and everything that happened, it's like you heal in chunks. So like you'll have a month where you're healing and you'll feel good, but then something else pops up. Like today, I'm going to see a doctor after for my stance and my skeletal issues because my knees are clicking. And now I'm like, oh no, I might have really bad knees by the time I'm like 50 or 60 from overcompensation. So I'm good, but there's a lot of newer things that keep happening, like TMJ and stuff.
Yeah.
So, my spirits are good. I'm recovering very well, but I definitely have bad days, and I definitely have some days where I feel trapped and limited in my body, but overall I'm happy that I'm walking. And I mean, it was really crazy because when I was in the hospital, the neurosurgeon came over to me before he actually got into my back and was like, because I couldn't feel my legs and move my legs before the surgery. He was like, "We don't know if you'll walk again."
Oh my God.
And it was just the worst thing to hear in your life. It's like, I have a whole new appreciation for anybody that has mobility issues, because it was terrifying. And luckily I'm able to walk. So that's good. I got really lucky that I hurt myself without damaging any nerves. They were all just so squished that they couldn't move. But you know,
I think if there's anything anyone can say about you is your body is very resilient.
Yes. I was actually like, one of the things I like to say while I was in the hospital, before I had left, I was like, what's crazy is I think that like anal in the weirdest way prepared me for this injury, because I'm so good at breathing through pain.
Yes.
Like when
you
you're
said
upset,
that. Yeah.
You have to put a big dick in there. You really have to breathe,
or 2 dicks,
to get it in there.
or in your case, 3 dicks.
Exactly.
You got to just breathe
I've been
through
blessed
it.
with the breathing.
Yeah. You had said that to me at a convention, and then I remember, I think I said back, or maybe I just thought it, but when I recently ran a marathon, which I guess I did for the second time, it's the same thing. My porn memory kicks in, like, when I was at like mile 22 and like my body is just giving out. I'm like, I just have to go back and think of when I used to be in gangbangs and like the double anal part is happening. And you're just like, come on, you can do this. You can do this.
Let's do it.
Yeah. And then you push through and you're just like, yes, I did it. And then it starts to feel, which I guess a marathon would start to feel good. I would imagine an injury doesn't get to the part where you're like, oh, wow, this feels good now.
No.
But the healing,
it's the little wins.
Yes, it's the little wins. So it is an amazing thing what we've like taught our bodies to do.
It's really crazy, because I really think that more people should count sexual performers and porn stars and anybody who does that type of work professionally.
It
is a sport. You are an athlete. Yeah. We're operating and using our brain and our muscles in our bodies the same way an athlete does. We have the resilience and the training as an athlete. It's pretty cool.
Definitely. And I wanted to get more into that, but I'm sure everybody knows who you are. If you happen to be living under a rock, Adriana Chechik, I want to say, like, if you don't know who Adriana Chechik is, she is, I just want to say, because I want to like tell you this, and I just like want you to know this, because I know you've always been so like hard on yourself, or you've always like pushed yourself to be amazing at anything you put your mind to. And I know that sometimes you can be hypercritical of yourself. I just want to let you know, I was in porn before you got there. And I was in porn when you arrived, and I was in porn when you really like just made an impact. And I have to say, like, you like single-handedly, you changed the way everyone in porn had sex. And I just like, I want you to know that, because I know you're not really performing or anything anymore. And as you go on to other things in your life, like I want you to know, and I want the world to know that like you are 100% the greatest porn performer to have ever lived. And the way that you perform changed. It changed how people had sex. Like, you raised the bar on sex in porn. And I want you to know that. I know, like,
you're gonna make me cry.
I haven't, like, I want you to know that, like, if I had to write a history book about the porn industry, there would be a definite change from like before you got there to after you got there. And I think that anytime anyone squirts anywhere, you should get like a royalty or something, you know. And for everyone who doesn't know, Adriana did teach me how to squirt. You did.
I did.
Yeah, you did. I remember you had like booked me to shoot with you for your website, and you were like, "Oh yeah," and I wanted to be a squirt scene, and I was like, a lot of people think I know how to squirt just because I do a lot of anal and they like go hand in hand. And I was like, "But I don't know how to squirt," and you were like, "Don't worry, I got you," and you taught me. I feel like almost everyone has that story from my era of porn. So
yeah.
Anyway,
and then the scene was so wet, so messy.
I was like, "Oh my God, I'm doing it! I did it!" And it genuinely helped me because that was right before, a little bit before like all of us kind of like, it was probably a year before COVID or something. And I have to say, during COVID, I did a new like squirt scene on my, solo scene or whatever on my OnlyFans like every single day, just like using.
And they love it.
Yeah, and they loved it.
So
and I was like, man, wow, life would have been different if I knew how to do this sooner. So anyway, thanks to you.
Right.
You've made a lot of people.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
I did have a small win this week. I actually squirted for the first time since prior to my accident.
I remember reading somewhere that you said you weren't going to be able to do it anymore because it requires like some pushing and tensing that you said you couldn't do. So that's amazing. Yeah. Wait, so let me hear about
this. Yeah. So I actually had like about 2 months ago is when I started to get like the full feeling of my bladder again. Cause I lost like when the accident happened, I couldn't use the restroom by myself for a month. And then I had to like push on my bladder and it was very difficult. They thought maybe I wouldn't get the function of my bladder back or I wouldn't get it back to its full 100%. And with squirting, it's not just like peeing. It's like something so different. Like you have to like let go deep within your mind to have that type of release.
Yes, you do.
So I think I finally, the other day, I was like, let me just go live for the first time in forever and see what happens. And I think that I was putting so much pressure masturbating solo at my house alone that I was overthinking it because finally when I was live in front of people, I squirted within like the first 5 minutes and I was like shocked.
Oh, that must have
I started
been
like crying.
That is like the most emotional squirt story ever. Like I wish I was there. I like was everyone like so stoked? That's like a beautiful, that's a historical moment. That is like I
honestly felt like it was. It definitely was. I cried my eyes out. I'm like sorry for everyone who's like masturbating while I'm crying.
Oh my God, that's amazing. You're like, I can do it. It's almost like it's like somebody who's, been in a wheelchair and walks for the first time, but this was
It really is. It really is. It really is.
It's like the end scene in a movie.
Like, my superpowers fight back.
So that answered my question. So you are still doing some naked, you are still doing stuff on your OnlyFans. It's very, very rare, but I'm doing like live shows on OF, but not a lot because it's interesting. Like every time I think I'm going to do a scene or I'm going to like try and do something for fun, it's really the hardest part is opening up for camera at the same time. Like I really am not sure what the future holds for me in that aspect because if I could just have sex, it'd be fine. But as soon as I start turning a little bit or twisting, the next day is when I'm like, oh man, like I'm never going to be able to do that again. But I mean,
hopefully
OnlyFans,
a lot of physical therapy will help.
We came from a different era of porn. And when you said before, you probably weren't going to AVN. And it's crazy. I feel like all of us, it's like we all went to high school together or something, but it was porn. And now we've all kind of graduated. But like, I feel like you would understand because I feel like I'm retired, even though I'm very much not retired. Like to all my friends, I'm a porn star. I go online and I still shoot collabs. I hate that word. We were around before that word existed, but I shoot content for my OnlyFans. I still do boy girl for my OnlyFans. And I've done like, occasionally once every couple of months, I'll do like a studio scene. But it's rare. So that is doing porn, to your average person, that is doing porn, but not being part of this like everyday like hustle on set and that the community that used to exist. Like I feel like I'm retired, so it's a funny place to be in. And I was wondering if you felt the same way, because when you said, "Oh, I'm probably not going to AVN," it's like we're out of the world, but like we're still a porn star to anyone who's not a porn star. But like to us, I feel like I'm not, and I feel like not many people can understand that, right?
No, I definitely agree. I think the graduation terminology was the best, because it is like I feel like before, getting your dues was so different in the industry. Now getting your dues is doing enough studio content to build a name to go do your own stuff.
Well, some people don't even do that. I mean, I've shot so much content now with like, TikTok people or, who have never even stepped on a set. And like, it's just, it's interesting. But we came from this like, regime. Where like,
I think that like, I think there are still porn stars, but I think that
it's different.
To be a porn star now is something different than what even the girls who think they are, or guys that think they are, is.
I think being a porn star is really like a porn star and an influencer is kind of one thing now, right?
Yeah.
I think
but like in my brain, especially when I, not trying to be crazy, but like when I talk to or shoot with girls that are just doing OnlyFans, like my brain is like, wow, you could never handle going to set. Or I'm just like, this is so crazy, and I'm glad everybody's making a good income and can do it on their own agenda. But it is so baffling to me sometimes, like even like how close, like you said, you don't have to open up, even how closed off people are in scenes and everything. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, well, the fact that you said that, I'm like, there's so many people making a living off OnlyFans right now. They don't even know that you're supposed to open up. You know what I mean? Like, but we come from a world where like, no, this is how porn is made, and if you don't make it like that, it's wrong. Yeah,
but it kind of sucks. I don't know if you feel this way. I have like a little bit of both. It kind of still sucks for me, because I'm like, I would love to film like this new age style where like we're just chilling, but I'll have so many fans that expect me to like be a certain way, to where I'm like, this doesn't sell or work as much for me. Like, I need the girl that's gonna let me spread her butt really wide.
Totally, I know. Well, I miss you, and if you do shoot like with other people again, like I'd love to shoot with you again. I don't know if
I
you do
would love that.
But I do remember
you could outsquirt me this time.
Oh my god!
I would love it. I'd love to get waterboarded by you.
It's like Karate Kid, like, and now the student becomes the teacher,
the master.
But I remember connecting with you on this. I actually remember us talking about this when we shot together years ago, because that was sort of like, I think it was during COVID, because I remember we were waiting for COVID tests to come back in our cars and blah, blah, blah. But we had a conversation where, and that was when everybody was like in full on OnlyFans mode. And we were talking about like how some girls are like, my fans, they just want to like see me, we were talking about custom videos. And I remember earlier that day, I talked to another performer, and she was talking about how all of her fans just want to see her in like lingerie or no makeup at all, and her pajamas, and just like masturbate and say their name. And I'm like, I almost never got it. I never get that, like, ever.
No.
Yeah. Like, and I remember me and you connecting, like every custom video request I get, it's like I want anal, I want you squirting, I want you to be mommy, I want this. And look, I love it. I'm happy to be here. I enjoy it.
But we would love like, a nice chill custom one day. I would like to have like a date version. Yeah. No, it's put me in a bathrobe and tell me to rub myself sensually. Yes. It'd be real nice.
I know. Yeah. Like when I hear from the girls and they're like, oh yeah, my fans, they like it when I like eat pie and
like what?
I don't know. Eat like or maybe bake a pie. Maybe bake a pie. Nobody wants to watch me bake a pie unless I like squirted in the pie and then ate it.
Yeah, same here. And then sit on it afterwards.
I feel like you were telling me a story of a custom you did where you had to like squirt off of a balcony and like into something. Am I remembering?
Yes,
this right?
Yes,
Okay,
I
what was
did. The guy
this?
wanted to see how far I could go.
Yes, you had.
So
So you.
yeah, it was a
I remember this.
it was a loft. I had to rent this loft. This guy knew the exact hotel that had the loft.
You're
So I had
like,
to
how
rent the
tall
loft.
is the loft? Can you tell me how many feet the loft? Yeah.
Yeah, it was like I was like, how do you like have this detail? So I had to squirt off of the balcony in the loft into like kind of like a measuring type cup, like a giant one for him, and just be like, oh my God, and run like from side to side squirting. I was like, this feels more like a video game than a custom, but okay.
So you were on the loft and you had to like go on one side and squirt and one like run from side to side.
Yeah, kind of like it was like target practice.
Okay,
if you're
like
a girl, which is hard because
like it was POV, like
you,
he was on the bottom, like catching it.
yes,
Okay.
yes. And then I had
so
this
you had
like
to get a camera guy down there, right? To like,
yeah.
what
Not only
angle
I
did
have
you
the
shoot it
camera
at?
guy,
Yeah.
not only did I have the camera guy, and at the time the guy was so specific. I think he wanted it on a cell phone.
Right.
So not only did I have a camera guy with like a headband on to stick my phone underneath his head,
And this was
but
like
he also wanted
iPhone
me
10 time or 9 or 8, where it was not waterproof yet, right?
no,
Right.
no. And I had to have a measuring jar, because he wanted to see what would be going in his mouth.
Okay.
So the guy is like running from side to side with the jar, like back and forth. And then like, I'm like trying to squirt, and then like all the commotion, you have to really get into a zone to make yourself actually want to squirt while you're doing all this stuff.
Right.
And I just remember like, this is my life.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
it's funny how you go from like when I first started porn to being like, wow, I'm going to have a dick in my hand in front of people. This is my life. To like a gangbang with food.
Yes.
And you're like, this is my life. And then I'm running around in a hotel being like, this is my life.
I know, right? In a hotel
How
with
it
a
changes.
loft. Wait, did the squirt
Yeah.
actually land in the cup, or did you use like camera magic to do that?
No, a good amount of it did. A good amount of it
amazing.
did. I
Of course it
remember
did.
like covering the guy as well, because there was like we had to figure out what was a good length and stuff. So there was a lot of trial and error, but it did after a lot of it was everywhere else as well.
That's amazing. Of course you did.
Yeah.
I know anything you put your mind to, you do it. So what are you spending your time doing most of these days? Another thing, you were always just, super creative. I remember I saw that come out. In addition to raising the bar on sex, I think you raised the bar on Halloween. And as somebody who was always kind of known for making Halloween-ish pornos, I remember, I believe it was in 2020, when you did 30 Days of Halloween, and you had the most intricate costume every single day from October 1st to October 31st. And not only was it a different costume, the makeup look, and you actually like changed like set design in your living room. Like when it was Alice in Wonderland, there was like mushrooms and everything on there.
Yes.
And then when I remember you did Cruella before Cruella was, the movie, way before the movie came out, and you did this whole thing and everything looked like black and like a dungeon. And like, it was the most ambitious Halloween I'd ever seen. And I was like, she wins Halloween. I had like, there's no,
that was like proof of the pandemic boredom setting in.
Yeah.
Because that right there, I think I decided on September 28th that I was going to do that for Halloween. So literally the next day I woke up and ordered everything and started building sets.
It's amazing.
The very next day. But that's the reason why I remodeled my house, because I went so crazy with it. I was like, I'm just going to paint the walls, and like I nailed stuff to the walls and the ceiling, to when I went to take it all down after Halloween, I was like, oh my gosh, I've ruined my house.
Yep.
So
and with squirting everywhere. I remember
everything.
you saying like, you kind of go through couches,
I ruined the floor during that month because I had vinyl flooring. The floor was ruined.
We need to maybe just, at some point just open up like a completely squirt proof like home goods store.
Oh my God.
Right?
It would do so well. Like if you could get furniture that was squirt proof,
I know.
it would do
It's hard to
so
find.
well. Like
I have like a squirt blanket that I got on Amazon, and it's pretty good. So I just kind of put it down, but like it looks.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
I do that.
time.
I have a ton of like dog cleaning products.
Yes,
like
exactly.
know.
Exactly. I remember one time over COVID, and I did like a big squirt solo scene, and there was squirt all over the ground. And I'd always have the dogs like wait in the in the bedroom when I was doing my thing, and then I'd open the door when I was done, and they were getting kind of like antsy. They was kind of scared. I was like, all right, guys. And then my dog went into the middle of the squirt and he peed on top of it. He was like, oh, this is where we pee now.
Oh no.
It was right in the middle of 2020. And I was like, this is life. I was like, this is life now. This is it.
That's hysterical.
I know you do have to get out of here soon. So what are you doing now? Now that you are in this like weird, like, I feel like everyone from our porno generation is like, we're all doing like various different things. It's almost like we're kind of figuring out what to do next while still keeping a foot in porn in some way or another. What are you doing?
So honestly, right? I've been really blessed. Like I do stream. I still obviously stream video games. I do that probably 3 times a week.
Yeah.
But really,
I didn't realize how long you streamed also, because I remember I was going to do it with you once and you were like, I'll be streaming from noon to 7. And I was like, whoa, I didn't realize it was like an all day thing when you did it. I figured it was like an hour a day. Well, anyway.
No, it's crazy because to make an income on those platforms, you have to be live. Like the minimum for consistency would be like 5 hours. Oh, wow. But if you shoot up and you do 7 hours, you will get triple the amount of views. So I normally stream 7 to 9 hours a time, which is
that's a job.
It's definitely you're definitely on the whole time. I found out that like afterwards it takes me about 2 to 3 hours to decompress, just because you're like, I'm so hyped up I can't go to sleep, and because your body is like adrenaline's running, especially if you're playing video games, because you get hyped up or you get like sad, or even the video game will influence you. I'm playing Mortal Kombat right now, and I was telling my therapist, I feel like more angry lately, and we started to dissect it, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm playing games that are making me more like amped up, So right now I'm streaming a good amount, and then I've been really blessed that I took a lot of the past like 6 months to just heal. So I've been doing, it's still a little taboo, but I'm doing it and enjoying it, ketamine therapy. And
it's a great form of therapy.
Oh my God, it's life-changing. It's really changed my life. Yeah. It's changed my life. I had so many things I didn't know that I was hindering myself with, and my own fears of my past or my future was holding me back. I grew up hard, foster care and stuff. So a lot of those traumatic experiences were weighing me down from really being able to relax. Especially, I think a lot of my porn career is a culprit of my childhood trauma. Like, and I say this in a positive way, I always wanted to escape my reality. I always wanted to make sure I succeed. So when I started doing porn, I started young and I was just going. But that trauma really drove me to just work nonstop until I hit the mark where I'm like, okay, now I'm safe. But once I got to the safe space, I hurt my back. And then after my back injury, the same thing happened. And I'm like, I'm safe, but my body doesn't know how to feel safe or to be calm. So I've kind of just been learning how to appreciate that, learning how to slow down and not feel the need to, I need to be doing something or achieving something all the time.
Yeah. That was a reason why I left LA, because I felt like when I was there, it's like, I felt like if I wasn't accomplishing something or achieving something, I was useless. And it's so weird.
Yeah.
I felt oddly relaxed in New York, like the most fast-paced city ever. But I think because in New York, there's just so many things that I enjoyed doing that were outside of work. I think in LA, I felt a little secluded. So my whole life was work. So when your whole life is work, if you don't have something exciting at work going on, you start to feel useless. And it was this sad feeling where I was like, I'm just never happy unless I'm like killing it. And that's not a way to live, No.
That explains exactly how I was. I was the exact same way. And it's crazy because you don't see it. It's really hard to see that in yourself. Yeah. And you then think you're doing good.
Yeah. And then when I finally left, it's almost like I got to look at myself and be like, oh, yeah. Like I was my own worst enemy all the time in Los Angeles. Yeah. Like, but I need to do this and I need to do this. And we came from sometimes I think all of our mental health would have been better if we didn't have the awards, you know, like it just like, it was like this reminder every year of like, these people are better than you. I've tried to say it myself, and I appreciate all the awards I won, and I've had great times at the awards and everything. But, you know, I've said before, I'm like, how did you think that was going to go to put a whole bunch of tired people, because for those of you who don't know, the AVN Awards or all the award shows are after a very long convention. So you put a bunch of very tired, hungry people, and there was never any food, you know, tired, hungry people with, you know, a fair amount of mental health issues all over the spectrum anyway. There's no food.
Yep. And animosity for each other.
Yes. Yeah. A room full of people where there's a lot of drama, issues, you know, a lot of people that don't get along in the same room. And you're going to just stand on a stage and tell everyone, and there's no food and there's only alcohol, and then you're going to have people stand on stage and tell everyone who's better than the other one. How did you think that was going to go? I've tried to break that down and explain that to different awards committees who would get upset, like, oh, why is this person so mad? And it's like, well, how did you think that was going to go? You know, like,
exactly.
It's like, it would always like felt so personal, you know, like it felt like a knife through your stomach, you know, when you didn't like win the thing you wanted to win.
For
you know?
sure.
And it was,
I remember the year I didn't win Female Performer of the Year, and I thought I should have. I think I
felt your pain. I felt your pain.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know you very well, but I felt it. And I think the whole room felt your pain, actually. Like, to the point where we were like, I don't know if it's going to be okay. And you can tell the girl who won that year felt bad for winning, you know? I believe she even went on stage and said, Adriana should have won.
I know. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
And you think, like, she was so nice for saying that, but at the same time, it was, like, even more bittersweet because then everybody wants to come tell you about it. And then I remember telling Peter Warren, who works at AVN, for, like, the whole year, I was like, you guys fucked me. Not only did you fuck me, but like you fucked me for a year, because I went around to conventions for a year and I had to hear fans. The first thing
like,
they say
remind
is
you of
oh, you should have won, you know? And I'm like, oh, fuck you. Get in here for a photo. Let's fucking go.
Yeah, like there was, like you couldn't escape it. And it's such a strange particular thing. But then you won the next year, you know? And I even remember when you did win the following year, like everyone that I was sitting near was like, I actually remember somebody who worked for the agency that you were a part of, one of the women, Fran, I think. Yeah, that was her name, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, she was sitting near me, and you could see the look of like relief on her face. It was like, oh, thank God. Like we all, you know, the whole industry was like, please just like, let's just give, like, she really deserves it. And then we all know that, but, and, you know, and that was, that kind of, I think stepping away from all that and getting out of Los Angeles, you know, it made me take a step back and be able to look at it and be like
these are crazy times.
Most people outside the industry don't even know about like what award you won, what award they see a picture on the red carpet on you and they're like, wow, congratulations. And they don't know if you won. They don't know if you lost. And a lot of these little details, like it's like I came back where I came from before LA and everyone's like, wow, you killed it. Like nobody knows what year you won this and what year you lost this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, totally. Oh yeah, I did okay. I didn't, you know, and like, and I mean, you are like, you know, I hope you have found peace because you have accomplished really great, amazing things. And I'm sure whatever you put your mind to, you will be able to be the best at it because that's, even if you're not, you'll be okay too. You're a very creative soul, you know, and you'll always,
I'm hoping I've been writing a lot. So I'm hoping to do a book, and I would love to move into motivational speaking, especially for women who want to get out of sex work. I would love to do motivational speaking for that, because when I stopped performing, when my injury happened, I went through, not only was I had the trauma of the injury, but I went through a huge identity crisis. I
totally get it. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I have no idea who I am. And then I actually looked at it. My name is Desiree, but I hadn't even thought my own name in my head for 10 years. Like my actual internalized name was Adriana. And I had to figure out who Desiree was outside of that persona. And then there was a battle between the two where Desiree is like, ew, some of the stuff Adriana does is gross, you know? And I had to figure out like, okay, we don't have to like everything we did, you know, on this side of me, but we can still be thankful and love it and not turn it into a negative. Use it as, wow, we, you know, overcame a storm and grew up and got a house and became successful for yourself, you know? So it was very interesting. You know, it kind of, I even sound a little crazy. I have like the two inner monologues going sometimes.
Well, I don't think people understand how much we get intertwined with our personas, you know, like I have dated, you know, musicians and in bands or even like actors and stuff like it's like they have more of a sense of going to work and going home. You know, I know like musicians, they're on stage and they have to be a persona on stage. And then when it's done, it's done. Once social media really became part of our jobs, it's a 24/7 thing, and you really don't know where your persona ends and your personal self begins. Do you feel like on Twitch, are you Desiree or Adriana? Like, who do you feel like you are?
On Twitch, I'm definitely Desiree.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that is more of the real, but it's all you know.
For sure. I mean, it is all me. It's just all about, I think now, like, Adriana is me at the same time, but now it's more about accepting that instead of using it as something to hide behind. Yeah. Like Adriana was my escape. That's why I never was also Desiree. But I do think on Twitch, I'm more natural. Like if you're like, oh, hey, Adriana has a gig, I'm going to go and I'm going to drink and I'm going to have this attitude and fans are going to come up to me and I'm going to want to kick them in the balls. But like, if you're like Desiree, you know, like hang out, I'm not going to kick a guy in the balls, you know, and you're like, are you sure you want that? You know? So I do think I have more of my natural self on Twitch, which has been really fun. And it's really cool to be accepted for being that person and to be able to be that person in front of people. Cause I still like being cool. Like it's, you know, I'm like, oh, giving up porn. Also, do I have to give up like being recognized and stuff? Cause you do like that stuff.
You've done
like
enough. You're solidified in history forever, no matter what you do. But it sounds like you just learned how to squirt again, so it doesn't seem like the story's over. You know.
I know. As soon as it happened, I was like, "What can I do?"
Yeah. Now you better go back to that loft.
Yeah. Right. So I wanna. Hopefully, I'll transition in the next year to 2 years. I kind of have a plan to use everything I've learned, to use my injury and stuff to better help other people going through similar situations. And I think the more social media becomes intertwined, the more identity crisis we're going to have and the more need for understanding. I don't even think there's enough women telling women about like, hey, if you're doing a lot of sex scenes or having a lot of sex and you feel depressed after, well, your hormones are doing that to you. It's not you. So, because I have a lot of girlfriends who are like, I'm so depressed after I shoot for a week. And I'm like, it's because you were on a pedestal for a week, you know, and you were just hyped up and your emotions were going raw and you were having orgasms and getting this dopamine.
Yeah, you're right. And it's like you're coming down. I mean, a lot of musicians
I really think
experience that when they're on tour and then they're home, you know, and they're like, oh, wow, I can't wait for the tour to be over and I'm going to go home. And then they're home and they have to do normal
things. And they're like, what
things.
now?
Yeah, and they do. And I've seen a lot of people go through that. So that it makes sense, you know. But musicians and other forms of entertainment, it's almost like they can talk about it more, you know, and it's accepted.
Exactly.
It's like people don't understand that sex work has a lot of the same ups and downs as other facets of entertainment. You know?
Well, the idea is we're not allowed to in a stance, right? Like, how dare you have emotions beyond the sexualization part, you know?
Or if you want to talk about a bad day or something or a bad feeling you have, they're like, oh, then let's blame porn and porn is traumatic. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, that doesn't mean that trauma was associated. Just like when you're in entertainment, it's a thing and it requires different things to make you feel good, you know? And that doesn't mean that the job is terrible and traumatic. Like being in entertainment is a fast, like high-paced kind of, job. But we're not even considered part of entertainment. So at least everybody in entertainment, they can like have each other. And I don't know, I feel like even therapists and other people understand it more. But with porn, they're just like, well, you're a whore. You deserve it.
Yeah. So I think opening up that discussion and one of my something I have for a goal written on my board is to get people to see me as their girlfriend rather than their fuck buddy. Because I think if we can do that, like as a community together, to get more people to see us for something more than just the jerk off material, then it might bring more of society back to being kinder, rationalizing, the things we go through and the feelings we feel.
Oh, that's a really, really amazing way to put it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I think you'd be a very good, spokesperson for us. And
thank you.
I'm on board. Well, I know you have to get out of here. Thank you so much. Yeah. It's so good to talk to you. It's really.
I would love to come back when I have more time.
Yeah, come back another time. Maybe if you ever, if you make it out to the East Coast at all, let me know. And I would love to stream with you sometime. I've never been on Twitch. I probably haven't played a video game since I played Mario when I was, in middle school. Maybe you can teach me some things.
All right, I'm down.
Okay, next time I make a trip out, we'll make this happen. It's so good to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Yeah, it's I'm very happy for you, and I'm excited to see what Desiree does. The next chapter.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's good to see you. You have a good day.
All right. You too. Okay. Bye.
Bye. It's like I went to high school, but I went to high school in porn. And now I'm just staying in touch with my friends who went to the same high school as me, and we've all graduated. And we're just kind of, checking in and seeing what everybody's doing these days. And everyone who graduated from my class, I have to say, like, really did amazing things. They all really killed it. So I feel like I got to be part of maybe like the last wave of like porn in a certain era. I feel like I got to experience the last wave of porn before OnlyFans, and even though OnlyFans is a really amazing thing, and it's changed my life and it's changed the industry greatly. Like, I'm glad I experienced porn before it, because it's like I got to be part of this I don't know, this like society, is that the right word? That I don't, that doesn't really exist anymore. Or it does exist, but it's not the only way to do porn. Before it was like you really had to be part of this thing that was happening in Los Angeles and then sometimes Vegas and Miami or whatever. But it was, when I first started, it was really mostly centered in Los Angeles. Like, you kind of had to be part of this sphere, this like rotating ecosystem of sex. It's really crazy. And it's pretty cool to see where all the stars of my era wound up and what they're doing now. Pretty crazy to just sit here and talk to myself. Anyways, every episode ends with a haiku. I think it would be really weird to not do a haiku, but I also feel very strange doing one by myself. But maybe I should take a stab at it.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I mean, this episode is different for many reasons. I don't have Aaron today, and Brian is busy. I see him like in the way back of the studio. I know he's really upset. He's not part of the haiku right now. So I usually, Brian is always very helpful with the haiku. So maybe I'll see if I could do it on my own. Should I try to do a haiku?
Solo haiku?
A solo haiku. I mean, I did major in English once upon a time, so I really should be able to do a solo haiku, right? I have no one to bounce off of. Let's see. I'm going to start. Do you want to help me do a haiku?
Sure.
You're going to help me.
Okay.
You know what a haiku is, right?
Yeah. 757?
No, 575.
Yeah.
Get out of here. Clearly you didn't study just the tips. Okay, 5. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to do 5, and then you're going to do 7, and then I'm going to do 5. We'll do it like that.
All right.
Okay, so a return to squirt.
All right. A return to squirt. A stream
Oh, a
brought
stream.
back to life.
That's a return to squirt. A stream brought back to life. Okay. Now, Mortal Kombat.
We got there.
We got there. We got there somehow. We got there, yeah. It's a beautiful poem about playing Mortal Kombat and squirting. It's an ode to Adriana. So, Adriana, thank you very much. Well, you're not here anymore, but thank you for being on this episode. And hopefully let's have her back sometime. Everybody, thank you for listening to Just the Tips. I'm Joanna Angel. Normally, Small Hands is here. He's not here today. You can follow me on Instagram at Joanna Angel. You can follow us. God, how do I forget our own Instagram?
Is it Justthetipsxo?
Yes. I can't remember. I'm like, is there XO or not? Follow us on Instagram. Follow this podcast, Justthetipsxo. If you have a question that you want to ask us, email us, justthetipsxo@gmail.com. Listen to the show on Gas Digital. If you join and you use code what? Tips? Join and use code TIPS, and
7-day free trial and
you get
access to the Gas Digital Archive.
Yes, you get a 7-day free trial, and you get access to the Gas Digital Archive, where you can hear all of the older episodes, because now that we're on Gas Digital, only the first 20 episodes are available to listen to on all platforms. So you're going to have to sign up if you want to hear all the old and good ones. Thank you everybody for listening, and have a good week.